That hurt.
I'm tuned in like crazy, and I'm pretending like I know what they're doing, and I'm,
Be articulate and intelligent.
Greg's a bitch. That's all.
I find them offensive as hell.
I've never been a fan.
Yeah, fuck that.
Ooh, terrible! Bad! Not bad! Oh, pretty good. Okay, decent, fair, great. I love this.
This sucks.
Yeah, you really gotta wonder how the stuff gets made.
Welcome to the Straight Red Card. I tell you what was funny over the 4th of July weekend. I showed my mom that intro to our show. She's like, "Oh my God. Wow.
Greg is a bitch."
No, she's like, Landon Donovan thinks that highly of your show. I'm like, Mom, no, this is, oh God. Mom, it's a joke. All of it's a joke. Wallace didn't say that either. My mom's like, oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm like, Mom, no, they didn't say that about her show. Those are cuts and excerpts that I made look like they said it about her show. And she's like, okay, that's a relief because I thought that Greg told you guys to fuck off or whatever. I mean, and so, yeah, she just doesn't. She doesn't understand the sort of the parody humor. Like, doesn't get it at all. It's not even worth it. You need to go beat some ass.
No, I'm getting a hug apparently.
All right.
All right. Let's go.
Cool. No need to beat that ass. Too small. All right. Too small. The turd in the background says, so anyhow, yeah, my mom doesn't get the humor. My dad doesn't know who any of those people are. My dad has no ability to see a U.S. player and keep that player and what they look like in his head. He's got zero inability. It is unbelievable. His ability to recognize people by their faces is just, it's garbage. I don't know if he's just gotten older, if he just doesn't give a fuck, which is what I think it is. He just doesn't give a fuck about, like, he'll watch U.S. soccer games and with my mom and with me, but he didn't really care that much. His thing is always like, yeah, I thought you said these guys are good. That's my dad's thing. I thought you said these guys were good.
Yeah.
That's my brother too. Hey man, I thought you said these guys were good. That's all I got for the whole 3 years during Berhalter. It sucked. But now they're watching and they're like, damn, these guys,
great.
These guys are
going to
good.
come back and then it's going to revert back.
They're like, they watch Nations League. They're like, damn, yeah, these guys are pretty damn good. The turn in the background says, welcome to the Straight Red Card, the only soccer show that gets demonetized because of their theme song. My wife used her vibrator while she listens to the theme song. If I have to be honest, so do I. Good for you, turd. You know, it's whatever gets you through the day. I think that's what's important.
We do our part.
Yeah, we try. Judgmental deity. I'd sooner believe Greg held a gun to BJ's head and made him call up Yueill than he chose him out of free will. I know, but
we'll get into it, yeah.
We'll get into that. Let's just say there wasn't a whole lot to pick from because of injuries. But anyhow.
Yeah, and we'll also get to say that given the players leaving, I can understand it, I guess.
I mean, you want to keep this a C team, right? You don't want to like bounce it up to a B team or anything.
Improve the talent. What?
No. We got to stick it
mediocre.
Crazy talk. And we'll get to that because, you know, we're being mean to Yueill here because he's had a better season than last year. I don't know what that means, but it has been promoted.
That's what Camp Cupcake's for. Bring him in there. He can show that he can handle the next C squad at Gold Cup, and then he can be included, okay?
I mean, he is like C squad material, isn't he?
I know.
And we're trying to keep this a C squad. We don't need to bump it up a level. All right. Okay. Well, by the way, yes, we're now learning the fate of the sub crew, if you believe the transcripts that were released, which no one's really confirmed. But I mean, if somebody made those up, that's pretty elaborate. But it sounds like they knew for about 20 minutes that shit was going downhill fast. And they had the LED lights going off. So they had several sensors in there telling them that the tube itself was under threat, was getting weaker or unstable.
Was crushing in its own?
Yeah, so at first they come in and say, yeah, we got one light on or two lights on. I don't remember what it is. Then right before they lose contact, they're like, yeah, all the fucking lights are off on. It's bad news. They didn't say bad news, but that's just bad news. And they had this big struggle getting the ballasts off the fucking sub so they could go back up again. And then they were only going up like 7 meters per 2 minutes. So 3.5 meters per minute, which is horribly slow. So something wasn't working. They were talking about they had to switch to the B power system. You know,
that's all the water was taking in.
Yeah, they were talking about it could have been a segment of the sub was taking in water and keeping them too heavy to rise at any bigger speed. Regardless, for 20 minutes, they knew shit was not good. They knew something was bad, and they were on their way back up, and then contact was lost. So yeah, for 20 minutes, those motherfuckers were probably panicking, and that's horrible. That really is horrible.
Yeah, I mean, if I went down in that questionable tube of a sub, I mean, I would absolutely say, well, where's my cyanide pill? When shit goes south, I want to just pop it and done.
Well, I guess they also have recent footage of the pieces of the sub, right? As they brought it out, they're gigantic pieces for an implosion of the magnitude we were told. There should be like little scattered little pieces all over, but no, they're large chunks. And then I read some other article today that they're very likely to find bodies now. They don't think the implosion was so gigantic or so forceful that the bodies would have been blown to smithereens because they're finding such large chunks of the sub, which they showed on the news. So, yeah, and somebody did a video of it, and at the very end, he has to say, the tragic fate of the Titan and its courageous crew serves as a solemn reminder of the inherent risks of blah, blah, blah. The courageous crew? How about the stupid crew? The stupid asses that built this who didn't do their research, and they've already been told that the encasing they were using for the sub itself couldn't withstand going that deep. But they said, no, it can. We're pretty confident. No evidence that they should be confident. And no one did any research before they got in that goddamn tube. Not the billionaires, not the millionaires. They just went and had dinner with this guy running it, and said, he's pretty believable. Fuck that. Did you see how they built this? There's a video on YouTube of them building this hunk of shit.
So again, I go with what I said the last time we talked about this. You can't tell me that they couldn't have remotely controlled it with an iPhone to go down to the depth that they want to make sure that they can withstand the pressure and everything.
Test it.
Test the fucking shit before you
put
start
it on a fucking rope,
man.
Put it on a fucking rope and dip it down there until it hits the bottom. Seriously.
They stuck it in the pool. Hey, this seam over here seems to be leaking. Just put duct tape on it.
Yeah. Well, and at some point, the guy from the sub was telling the people above, yeah, we're starting to hear some noises from the aft. And he would obviously, you start hearing creaking noises or whatever those noises were. You're like, this shit is dire. They're like, we're hearing noises. We're coming up. Well, good luck with that. Then they took them like forever to figure out how to get the ballast to work and get those off. And then they abandoned the whole frame of the sub to make it go up. I mean, it was a total disaster. Now, if this is a fake script that someone wrote, not a real transcript, okay, well, then we still won't know the truth. Nobody's confirmed or denied, and I don't know why anybody would release a fake one. I don't know how you're gaining brownie points for that or something. I don't know. Anyhow, horrible story. They weren't courageous. They were either nuts, or they were arrogant, or they were crazy. And in the kid's case, he just loved his dad and wanted to do what his dad told him. And his dad's a billionaire, so he just went along with it, even though he's scared. I guess they said in the end, his family said, but no, he really wanted to go with his dad. I'm sorry. We didn't want to make his dad look like bad. So yeah, he really was excited and looking forward to it. Even though the prior reports were like, no, he was scared shitless to go on that thing. If you're hearing stuff, it's too late. Yeah, it was too late for them, Shaparo. And this is not to make light of their deaths or, But listen, we talked about this when people went up to the Himalayas, right? Was it the Himalayas or was it the other one?
I'm missing this name right now.
With green boots.
Yeah.
I mean, you have a better chance of getting up
Mount
and
Everest.
down
Jesus.
Mount Everest. You have a much better chance. At least there's history of people going up and coming down, going up, coming down. There's no history of this. You don't take your kid on a sub that has no history of going down and coming up, going down, coming up. It's the opposite of Everest. But you just, anyhow, sad story. Wilmer Sanchez, how about the Three Musketeers, Davis, Conrad, and Heath, having issues calling Ferreira the pirate of the Caribbean? Well, they have no sense of humor then. Come on, Jimmy. You have a sense of humor. We know you do.
Well, they've mentioned it in their own show. They even had a thumbnail of it.
They did.
So I don't know. I think they're kind of looking back on it, and they're like, "Oh man, I feel like this is disparaging against this young talented kid."
Yeah.
We don't want to dogpile on that. That's I'm paraphrasing, of course.
Ferreira scores a hat trick against Canada. We can add other continents to his conquering, right?
I have that covered. Hold on.
His looting, his acquisition of booty, right? So, he's got an opportunity to change some minds. Yes, it is not Canada's 18, but still, it's competition. And if he could score against them, that would be cool. What is this? Sparrow takes aim at another Caribbean nation. Wait, they aren't a tiny island nation. Well, join us tonight at 8:15 to clear up any confusion of that. USMNT, which pirates would you call abroad? Well, I have to say, honestly, pirates did land on the coast of Canada throughout its history as well. Yep, they did. So pirates were everywhere. They weren't just in the Caribbean. I know if you just watch one movie, that's all you're going to think they did. But they were up and down both coasts, all coast pirates.
The funny thing is, I think Davies actually tried to give Conrad credit for dubbing Pirate of the Caribbean.
No.
So,
sorry.
I'm like, okay, and then now Filippo's using he's using Jack Sparrow, which is good. I'm glad that's catching on. I'm glad that's catching on.
Yes.
He's like, he is Jack Sparrow. It's like, because he mentioned in the videos, like, when it comes to these tiny nations, he's plundering and everything, but when he has to face the Flying Dutchman, he's a ghost,
Mm-hmm.
Like, he is Jack Sparrow. I'm like, yes, he's Sparrow.
And we'll see how he does against Canada and all the other teams going forward. He's got a chance to change the narrative about him, that he's not just a pirate of the Caribbean.
If I was Jesus, I would absolutely lean into that nickname. I mean, I would absolutely run with that.
You want him to dress up like a pirate.
He better, yeah. Next pressure, he's got an eye patch. He's got rum in his hand.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Absolutely.
It's not happening. All right.
Jesus, I know you watch our show. Do it.
It would be funny after he scored against Canada and they're interviewing him. And he goes, "Arg, see? I can conquer other places too."
It would be more endearing for the fans who are like, "Oh, he sucks. It would be absolutely endearing to them. I guarantee you he would gain a lot of fans of people who are critics of his if he leaned into that. I guarantee
he should wear a bandana when he goes out and plays next time.
Yeah. Like instead he whips out an eye patch, puts it on, sword fighting.
That might hurt his ability to hit headers, although that's not really his
headers
thing.
Anyways.
I know. Not really his thing anyhow, but I can't think it's going to help. So, I mean, people just need to have a sense of humor about it.
100%.
And I think that Ferreira probably sees it as, a negative. But maybe he doesn't. Maybe he's having a sense of humor about it too. So some eyeliner. Oh yeah, that would be a good addition as well.
You can do some subtle stuff, yeah.
But you know what you can't do with Jimmy and Heath just did there, which is use the terms and then go, maybe we're being too harsh. Maybe our sense of humor about this is actually mean. I mean, It's not that mean.
If it's okay to poke fun at somebody, it's got to be okay to poke fun at everybody. Just saying.
Yeah.
Everybody's are
Dude,
acceptable.
I watched this show and read the chat afterwards 2 days later or a day, and people are making fun of me in the chat the whole fucking show.
Yeah.
What, am I going to go cry? Oh, man, people are making jokes about me. God, just learn to fucking accept it. People are going to make fun of you or, your shortcomings.
How many jokes have you cracked about, me meeting people and giving them handies and all sorts of stuff? I mean,
getting pegged.
Yeah, needing to wear a T-shirt at the pool, that type of shit.
People put you back into the ocean when you're on the beach.
You bitch.
They pushed me back in
cry
too. Listen, I mean, it's okay. You just got to roll with the punches because you can't pronounce Hibernian. I can now because you brought it to my attention. I'm like, why do I keep calling them Iberian? What is this, Battlestar Galactica? All right, give him the Captain Man against Canada and put Skull and Bones on it.
Yes.
That would be badass. Yes. So I would roll with it if I were him too, because it's funny. It's kind of like how Robbie Fowler rolled with the whole rumor that he had a coke habit, and then he scored the goal and he tried to sniff the line after he scored the goal, and his teammates are like, "Don't do that, dude! No, don't do." They're all lifting him up, but he's all down on the line, sniffing the goal line up.
Again, it's more endearing when you can lean into the criticism, even if it's poking fun.
Yeah,
you'll absolutely develop more fans, and quite frankly, the fans who are already defending you will probably become more diehard fans of yours. So
if he scores against Canada, he should be like, "Arg, Newfoundland's a fucking island. Conquered that shit too." He should. That would be awesome.
My best.
By the way, did you know, Brett, that
I did.
Did you know that if you listen or you drink Coca-Cola, they have a contest this summer. You get an opportunity to listen to Bad Bunny all summer long for free. Bad Bunny. Who the fuck's Bad Bunny? I don't know.
I know you're saying words. I heard Coke.
You got to drink Coca-Cola. There's like a contest they're having, and if you win the contest, then you have the opportunity to listen. Or it's not a contest. Maybe if you buy the Coke, there's like
Bad Bunny happens to be a Puerto Rican rapper.
There's a QR code on it. I guess if you scan it, you can listen to Bad Bunny all summer. Whatever.
Bad Bunny, I think happens to be like a porn title, right?
A lot of
Bad Bunny.
Anal videos. Yeah, I don't know who this Bad Bunny character is, but I just want to let all of you know you have that opportunity as well. Listen, I am showing my age. I know he's an artist. I've never heard a song by him.
Seth Floyd says, I never thought I'd hear Derek mention Bad Bunny.
Didn't I mention what's the bad girl? I mentioned her too. Bad Baby?
Yeah, the 16-year-old chick that was on Miss Dr. Phil or whatever.
Yeah, she's not 16 anymore. I think
clearly, yes. I know how age actually works. I mean,
she got older. I mean, she was 14 or something when she was on Dr. Phil, I think. She's even younger than that. What's it, Meet You Outside or something like that? Anyhow, she's quite the character. I do know her, so does that give me any modern credit points? Probably not. You know what, guys? Don't expect me.
I'm going to dock some points for that, Derek.
Why? All right. Well, anyhow, don't expect me to know any modern music. Catch me outside. Thank you, BMR. All right. So, yeah. See, again, people busting my balls because I don't know any modern music. That's okay. I can accept that. See? It's okay with me that people bust my balls about being old. People do it all the time, and it's just fun.
Derek, you're the living gif of what's his face from I can't think of his name, but the gif of where he's holding the skateboard. He's got the hat. He says, "Hello, fellow kids or fellow teenagers."
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
What is his name?
Man, if you have to look it up, it's past funny at this point.
No, it's worthwhile. This is Derek.
It's too late. It's all the rhythm has been dissipated, and now you're going to find it.
Of course, I'm fine. It's 2 seconds to quickly pull it up. This right here. How do you do, fellow kids?
Oh yeah.
Steve Buscemi. There we go.
Yeah, Buscemi, he just died recently.
What?
I think Buscemi died recently.
No, I have not heard this. Is that real?
I think so. Or did I just make that up because he died in the movie? He's still alive.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, my bad. I was making. Oh yeah, he died in the movie where he's bowling.
Looked like his wife died though, or maybe they got a divorce. Actually, take that back.
Okay.
I see. 1987. I'm like, oh my goodness, Steve went young there.
Great actor. Great actor.
Yeah.
What was the movie that I'm talking about? With the dude.
Oh, Big Lebowski.
Big Lebowski. Big
Larry
Lebowski.
had you covered there.
Thank you, Larry. Lebowski. Yeah, it's been a while, old friends. Diego is back in the house. All right.
Minute or two.
I hope you're well, friend.
Diego, we're gonna be talking about you spreading the rumor of Weston and his moves.
No, we're not. He didn't do that.
I know.
He's not spreading anything. Oh, by the way, all the people that came at me for, hey, Derek, I like watching UEFA games. That's fine. I didn't say you didn't have to like it.
Oh, my God.
I mean, there's a lot of that. Like, hey, man, I like UEFA Conference League. Okay, fine. They said because it's random teams and it's entertaining. These are all the reasons they use. It's fine. It's still a B- tournament. It ain't the best teams. I'm going to watch the Champions League. You can go ahead and watch the meaningless UEFA League. That's fine. But it doesn't mean anything to become it's the best in the
for
second.
Them to drink and get rowdy, guys. Well, that's true. That's a good excuse, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. But listen, I don't mind. You guys do whatever you want. Whenever gets your dick rock hard, you do that. But for me, it doesn't. I am totally flaccid watching the Conference League. So, guys, I found out in Vegas something fucking insane about this show and someone who watches it. Woo! Well, we'd like to know.
You shoot me a DM. I'll keep it secret.
Did you run into Bill Murray? Because I heard he watches this show.
That'd be tight.
All right.
I'd dig
Michael
it.
Jordan? I don't know. I'm wondering. Now I'm curious, Diego. So anyhow, let's move on to your collection of
something there. I forgot what I was going to say now.
Your collection of feeble-minded topics.
we're talking about the comments of the last show about you with the Europa League and everything.
Yeah.
Dude, Collins Zinger got me. I laughed for 5 fucking minutes.
What was the zinger?
It's really rich of Brett to be bitching about Ferreira in the Caribbean nations when he couldn't go more than 5 seconds without AC in Jamaica. And I laughed my ass off at that.
I didn't really understand that joke. I mean, and I think I typed in, yeah, dude, he's Scots-Irish. He burns. No big deal.
Yeah. I laughed so hard that I'm like, Colin, more of this, please.
Was it a joke or was he really trying to come at you? You think? Was he busting your balls?
I think he was just busting my balls. I think it was all for fun. I think
because Colin doesn't like when I bust balls. He basically thinks it's I'm being hypocritical.
Yeah. No, I love the comment. Even if he was being super serious, I think the comment was great. I thought it was baller. Colin
thinks I'm really mean to people. And I'm like, Colin, I'm just busting balls, dude. I'm just kidding around. It's not that serious. Anyhow, I don't know. Whatever. Busting balls, I guess, can be taken in a bad way. This billionaire super soccer fan, he's pretty famous. It was a wild conversation. Billionaire super soccer fan.
So what's the podcast equivalent of a sugar daddy?
A billionaire super soccer fan. In Las Vegas. Todd Bowley. Now I can't even start guessing because there's so many. Like in the old days, if you said billionaire, I'm like, okay, there's like 9 of those. But now there's 172 of them. So
way more than that. It's like 400 and some here in the States alone.
Was it Canada that had 172 then?
I think only like 47 or something like that.
No, they had a lot more than we thought.
Maybe
a lot
this.
more.
I don't want to look this up again. All right,
No,
we'll take your crazy 147 billionaire Canadians.
Yeah, there were a lot more American ones. Okay. Anyhow, let's move on to your topics.
All right. Well,
Real soccer topics.
We're going to dive right into your favorite topic, which we already briefly brought up.
Transfer news. Everybody loves those transfer news, except for me. Oh, by the way, tonight I am drinking La Chauffée. La Chauffée. It has, see that little elf on there. Isn't that cool? This is a Belgian blonde. It's about eight on the alcohol scale. And I've never had it before, so here we go.
Diego says, he comes up to me and says, hey, you're 29. I watched you on the Straight Red Card. I love that show. And I'm just in shock because of who it was.
It was wild. Nice. That's awesome to know. That's really cool that he saw you on our show. And boy, this is a little bitterness at the end. Like it's trying to be a blonde Belgian.
Evan Williams is finally back. Done drinking the vodka, whatever's.
Straight too. You're not fucking around. But this is like almost trying to be an IPA and a Belgian beer at the same time. I'm not sure I'm liking that. I thought you were going to
Floyd
transfer
says
this.
29 is sliding into Brett's DMs at least once a week. At least once a week.
What does your DM stand for?
I don't know. Dick measuring, I guess.
That's what I was wondering.
All right.
Let's do it.
On to
transfer news.
Transfer news.
Transfer news number 1. What do we got?
All right. Well, this has absolutely nothing to do with an American player. Benfica fans welcome Di Maria in a special way. He's back after 13 years, having moved back to Benfica on a free transfer from Juventus. The reason I bring this up is we were talking about potential places for Weah to play at Juventus, and now Weah's starting more or less right winger is gone.
It opens up a new spot, but I mean, is he really gone because Di Maria was so injured throughout the season all the time?
When he's healthy, he was there. He started.
So this is when you know your career is really coming to an end. When the club you started with 20 years ago is the club you go back to at the very end of your career. So
yeah.
Can we talk about Ferreira's? We know what you're talking about, Larry. Mom's booty. Probably not. Haven't seen her booty close up. I don't know. But she is his mom, which means she's probably like about Brett's age. So I don't know. I don't know if I do that. We'll just stick to talking about him being the Jack Sparrow. I think that's enough humiliation. If we start talking about his mom, that gets a little personal. So I'm not going to talk about his mom's booty. I'm sure it's a fine rack. I'm sure it is.
Well,
next one.
But yeah, so hold on, I got to find it now because Diego brings up a comment here. Even though Diego did not spread the rumor that McKinney is in talks with Dortmund to move on, and he posted he retweeted it and said, "You guys are really high up on this rumor." That's all he basically said.
Well, you mentioned in the pre-show there aren't a whole lot of deals in history done between Schalke and Dortmund.
I mentioned that because other people have mentioned certain publications within Germany have emphasized that.
Yes, Bild, Kicker. Yeah, I know. We were talking about in the pre-show. You're right for the most part, or they're right for the most part. However, there have been players that have done it. Jens Lehmann pretty recently moved from Schalke to Dortmund. So it's not impossible. It does happen on occasion. Players that were once at Schalke end up in Dortmund. There's another Freund, another guy who ended up. So there are some. There's a handful. Jens Lehmann is the first one I mentioned.
Oh, you did mention it. Okay.
Yeah. So it's not beyond the pale. It can happen. McKinney in talks with Dortmund, according to ESPN, 24-year-old midfielder in discussions with BVB about potential summer move to Bundesliga club from Juventus, where he joined Gio Reyna, GFOPS. Giant fucking octopus pussy. I don't know what that means.
Person.
GFO.
Person?
Okay.
An octopus person.
What you think? What you think about a return to Germany for McKinney? It's like Yoda all of a sudden. What do you think about return to Germany for McKenny? I think it'd be fine. I think there's probably room, and he would probably be in the rotation, but it would be a battle. He'd have to be at his top. He'd have to be at his best, and he'd have to stay fit, and he'd have to stay healthy. But I think he would get regular time for Dortmund. I really do.
Well, they lost Bellingham.
Yep.
Did they lose? What is it? Dahoud?
I don't know.
I think they lost him too.
They might have.
So I mean, the midfield spots are opening up. I guess my thing is that I always look at Dortmund for the most part. I mean, minus an exception here or there type of thing. But for the most part, it always seems like they use their aged players like in the defense, and then their midfield and strikers are all like relatively young and super young phenoms that they aim to sell later on in life. Now,
Right.
if they do spend the 22 to 30 million that Juve's requesting of McKennie here, by the time he does the 3-year contract, if he stays for the full time or whatever, I mean, at that point, I mean, is he looking at a potential resell at the age of 28, give or take? I mean, that
Maybe.
would recoup the money that they spent on him.
Could
I
be
don't know.
if he
Possible.
performs. It's a weird rumor. I'll just say that it's not one I would have expected. And as Diego says in here, BVB did reach out to West to talk personal terms. By the way, it was far. There's like a nipple in there. It was far from a done deal, but it is a real possibility. But there's also about another 3/4 of teams, other options inquiring and making offers. That's totally believable as well. And I mean, he's going to find a team. I'm just not real sure Juventus is like 100% ready to part with him.
Contract's coming to an end soon. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if he's got 2 more years left or what. I haven't looked at his contract, so I'm not sure. But it's got to be nearing an end, and they've got to be looking to try to offload him because they'll be able to make money back on a sale.
Yeah.
So
I mean, if you would ask me, I would
or
have
break even at least.
I would have thought maybe something more like Frankfurt or Leverkusen, around that level made more sense to me. There are 17 likes, laughing out loud, you turds. Oh, that's right. If you're watching this show, make sure you like the show. And you can subscribe too. That would be great. I mean, if you're here and you
Super
watch,
swell.
if this is your 3rd time here, then subscribe. Because we're not going to get any worse. We may not get any better, but we're probably not going to get worse than we are now. All right.
But yeah, so there's obviously talks of obviously talks of him going to Roma as an option. There was always rumors about like Brighton's and a couple other clubs in EPL, and he had mentioned in an interview that he would like to go back to EPL, or at least that's what In Soccer We Trust was saying about it.
Well,
Assuming
most Americans dream of playing in the English Premier League because that's what they grew up watching, right? Not Italy, not Germany. Hell, Germany just recently normally on TV. Before that, it was hard to find. Italy as well wasn't always easy to find. But English Premier League's been on a long time. So it expires in 2025. So
we got 2 more years.
They don't have to rush here. They can hold on to him for another season, and I'm sure that McKennie loves Turin.
Maybe that could be a thing right now, quite frankly. Oh yeah, of course he is. They could be looking at a potential loan where Dortmund might be looking at a loan with an option to buy, say if he comes there and he starts performing. Similar to what Leeds, I guess, we're trying to do.
Right.
Go from there.
But Leeds were awful. So there you go. They did hire Farka, which I think we mentioned in the last show. Remember a year and a half ago when I asked you to pronounce, I just put the spelling of his name up on the screen and said, how would you pronounce that? And you said Fark. And I said Farkane. Remember that?
Yeah.
That's a classic Tierra straight red card moment.
Became a canon for all of us. Just substitute fucking Farka.
Oh yeah, now everybody says Farkane and Farka that. But we were the first to do it. All right. I mean, I don't know. There might be some other dude many years before who found that amusing, but we were the first, I think, in the modern era to do so. Spencer Doherty. That's a very, very good Irish name. Spencer Doherty. Doherty. Anyhow, 569. That's an odd number, but it ends with 69, so that's a
We
positive.
appreciate it.
Yeah. Will Gio actually get time with Wes? Drinking Old Smoky RN cookie dough flavor too is the best. Old Smokies. Oh, I haven't had the cookie flavor. I didn't know they had cookie flavor. I'll have that. I have had
different flavors, like 6 or 7 or 8 of different flavors.
not my Big Red. It has 2 flavors: gross and the one I drink. And I don't remember what the gross was.
Venture your way up to like Total Wine and what is it? Total
Dude,
Wine.
that's where I get all my Belgian beers. Total Wine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, dude, it's like
You need
a
to venture
massive.
out. You need to venture out of the beer section.
Nora, I know I should. Nora's Total Wine is as big as a goddamn Kroger, full of liquor.
There's one on Nora. At Nora.
Oh yeah, right.
I
Nora.
knew the one in Carmel, and I knew the one at Exit 10.
No, there's one in
69.
Nora.
Oh shit!
Right,
I didn't realize there were 3.
Right there in Nora, next to what's it next to? Aldi's.
Okay.
Before
Fair
that
enough.
is Target, Kroger, and a Whole Food store. All right, so just giving Brett directions to Total Wine.
I don't need to go to that one. I literally drive past one on my way home from
Well,
work.
Carmel's much closer. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how much bigger that one is. I've heard that the Total Wine in Nora is the biggest.
The one at Exit 10 is what used to be an Earth Fair.
Okay.
Massive.
That's-
It's at the Hamilton Town Center. It's massive.
Oh. Okay, so is this one. So,
Yeah.
it's just not a cock contest or anything. but
Yeah,
my
mine's
Nora is bigger than your Nora. My Total Wine's bigger than your Total Wine. All right, what else we got?
Well, I guess to answer Spencer's question, whether or not Gio will get time with Wes, if Wes does play for Dortmund and he does get into the midfield, I guess it all depends on whether or not Dortmund decides to actually play Gio, because they played 2 different positions. Gio, in their 4-3-3, Gio plays more as an attacking wing and not necessarily in the center 3.
I think he's proving with us that he can play in the
Well,
3.
and he did before his injury. He actually played quite a bit in that center 3.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's not out of the question. They could literally be playing right next to each other like they do with the national team. But given what the coach did last season, and where he played him in that spot, we played him mainly out left wing
In the last
from there.
10 minutes of every game.
But yeah,
So that's got to change.
but yeah.
And I'm
but thanks,
really
Spencer,
hope-
for that almost $6.
We'll see. We'll see how Gio evolves. I do expect him to start a lot more games next season, and
Yeah.
we'll see how that goes. But right now, I really don't think I see Wes going to Dortmund. I just don't.
I don't either, but anything's
I mean,
possible,
Diego
guess.
would know
I didn't
better.
expect Leeds at first either, but that happened too.
Yeah, Diego would know better than us. No, I didn't. I was not surprised by Leeds when the
Over
rumor
the
came out.
other
At all.
options, I don't know. I mean, I
No
can understand
way.
why he went there, but nah.
Adams. There's one word. Adams and Jesse. 2 words. That's why he went.
Well, I know that's why he went. I just it kind of came out of left field. I didn't realize. Well, they didn't realize it wasn't on my radar that they were even going to plan on loaning him out at that point. And then all of a sudden, Leeds came up, and then there, So
I was a Leeds fan, so I had that shit on my
he
radar.
became a Leeds fan that season.
Yeah. Keep an eye on Brentford, Villa, and Brighton, and what they do this month, all in the mix for them. That's exciting to know. Those are all fun teams. Brighton. I really like to see Wes on Brighton the way they play. A nice open style. I like that. That would be fun to watch. An entertaining team. Villa would be interesting, but then we've already got the Tyler Adams rumors to Villa, right? And West Ham. So that should be. I mean, I'd love to see those two together. I mean, but it didn't work out that well in Leeds because Adams was injured the whole time. But would love to see them play together. Anyhow, you can only hope for that because that means you have to watch one less game over the weekend. But
I guess while we're talking about Leeds, let's talk about the decimation of Leeds' roster. And it kind of plays into the factor with the U.S. men's national team here for a bit. Cock is on the move.
that's what she
He's
said.
on his way. He's doing a season-long loan to Frankfurt. So he's leaving one Aronson brother to go play with another Aronson
The other Aronson brother.
against the previous Aronson brother. Hey,
Yeah.
in Berlin.
It is just a loan. It's kind of interesting that he probably had a clause where he could demand a loan if they were relegated. So he's probably, a lot of people are going to cringe at this, but I thought Robin Koch during the season was one of the better players for a while. And I thought he played pretty well
moment, sure.
certain games alongside of Verber.
Wasn't Koch the one that moved up into this defensive midfield role?
And then when he moved up to defensive center midfield, I
think
thought
that's
he
when
played
he started to shine.
Well, but he had shined earlier in the season. Then everybody fell off, right? Everyone fell off a cliff. And then at the end of the season, as a CDM, I thought he did pretty good. But they probably don't need him. They've got enough center back issue. But I mean, they could have kept him and had played him as a CDM, just like Big Sam did, but guess not. Although, Koch's not really on my mind usually. Like, no, seriously.
Just your own, right?
I mean, yeah, just my own Koch. But, I mean, meaning...
Is that looking infected?
Oh, man. Jesus Christ. Okay. That's pretty gross, Brett. All right, that's up there on the gross. Is that pussy?
You said pussing, right?
What's that rash? That rash is concerning. All right. What's the next rumor?
So Balogun's been having a lot of rumors about teams that are interested. We've talked about this before with AC Milan, Inter, Marseille, Monaco, and Leipzig, all of which expressed interest. We know Arsenal is aiming for that $50 million value, which a few of these teams will actually bite at.
No way.
But the newest rumor, and this is one that Filippo had advertised, well, he pulled it up on Arsenal's page or whatever today, that apparently Chelsea's interested in Balogun.
No. Don't go to Chelsea. That's a fucked up place. They're still buying players. They're still buying players out of nowhere that you're like, oh wow, you're still purchasing.
They're throwing all the shit against the wall and seeing what sticks.
Instead of trimming the team down to what is a manageable size and keeping the best players they've got, they're just like shipping guys like Mount off, who had just 2 seasons ago played miraculously. I mean, just 4 seasons ago, fucking Pulisic had 11 goals and 8 assists. He's gone. Guess that's not good enough anymore. Are you telling me all these players turned to shit in 3 years? They didn't turn to shit. They didn't turn to shit. What turned to shit was the locker room and the leadership of that club. Because there's no way you can't build a winning team out of those players. Something was wrong in the locker room.
It's too much of a revolving door of players coming out onto the pitch, coming out on the pitch.
I mean, the dude...
You couldn't build chemistry.
The manager played a different lineup every fucking game. No wonder you can't build any chemistry.
Or managers. Tuchel's doing that.
Managers did it. Yeah, Tuchel did it too. It was a new experiment every fucking day.
Over fucking complicated things. This is the same problem, the same issue we have with the national team, quite frankly, when they start talking about my system.
And you got all these great players that you're paying for. You got to play them all, right? Maybe that's what they were thinking. But no, you find a top 11, you find a starting 11, and you try to stick with that as much as you can. And that's why having 33 fucking players on your roster or more is absolutely absurd.
And 400 out on loan. You'll be happy to know that Diego has said that Ballo will not be at Milan.
No.
He won't be at Chelsea either.
No. Chelsea could afford it, but for the fact they need to sell some more players first.
Filippo's whole argument was like, if you told me that there was a team that was going to overpay for a player, you asked me that without telling me the team itself, I would absolutely say it was Chelsea.
Oh yeah, Chelsea would be the first one to come out of your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Next would be Man United.
Yeah.
So none of those teams right now. Marseille's maybe okay, but they can't afford him. None of those teams that you listed there can afford him, except for
not
Chelsea.
$50 million.
No, they can't.
Arsenal's either going to have to abide it, loan him back out, or let him fight for a playing spot with Arsenal. So.
He'll get another loan unless the end of his contract is coming up soon, which I didn't think it was. So
I couldn't imagine. He's had 1 season in Championship and then one in League 1. So I mean, I guess it's possible maybe he languished on the bench in the 2 teams for a couple seasons, but I feel like if you're valuing him at 50 million, it's not coming to an end.
I mean, that's a pipe dream value him at 50 million.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's a pipe fucking dream. I don't know what they're smoking in Arsenal, but 50 mil? No. More like maybe 25, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
AC Milan and Chelsea will have final direct contact on Friday to get the Pulisic deal done. That doesn't sound very promising. That's like one of the people or the other are saying, this is it, dude. Unless you give me what I want, fuck you, I'm out of here. Milan confident to have a green light in 24, 48 hours. Pulisic personally asked Chelsea to go and try new experience after multiple negotiations collapsed for his exit in 2022. Yeah, Pulisic wants to get the fuck out of Chelsea, and I don't blame him at all. But, I can't believe Chelsea would fuck him over like that.
Well,
but
I mean,
they
it looks like the final bid that Milan has posted was 22.
That's reasonable.
They're not getting the 30 that they wanted after Nations League, but it's better than the 20 that or the 18 to 20 that they initially offered. It was 20 that they initially offered. So Chelsea's going to get an extra 2 mil, whatever.
22 is absolutely reasonable. They should take it and thank their magic stars.
My question is whether or not it'll still be a loan with the buy-on clause at 22, because that's what it initially was being broadcasted. It was a loan with the buyout at 20 mil.
He needs a clean break. I just get the fuck out of Dodge.
Yeah.
Just take a pay cut and go to fucking AC Milan and get some playing time.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So
that's what I would say too. Let's take a break from Europe and let's go let's jump into MLS for a bit here.
What league?
We got some U20 transferings or loanings, I guess here. But
Okay.
Austin FC is acquiring Brandon Craig from Philadelphia Union for a loan for the remainder of the season.
Well, that's good. He might play.
Yeah.
He's not going to get...
That's the thing. I mean, I absolutely love the kid when he played with the U20s and everything like that, and I want to see him get more playing time.
Yeah, and if he doesn't get to play, he's only 19 and he's a defender. So that's, Neil is a freak. Neil's a freak because he actually plays at that age. But, yeah, he's got to go somewhere where he's got a better opportunity to play.
And, what's going to happen is that Austin FC's set pieces are going to be that much better.
If he gets to play. That
kid has a fucking laser pointer where he's placing that ball, man.
Yes, no, he's good at that. The question is, how much more time is he going to get at Austin that he's not getting at Philly? I guess for him, he might as well take the risk and the loan because there ain't much time at Philly. So
no. All right.
For all the youth that they develop in Philly, sometimes they don't get to play much.
True. Very true.
Paxton Aronson barely got to play before they shipped him off for Frankfurt. It's crazy. I don't know what Frankfurt saw because he barely was on the pitch. They must have watched the U20 World Cup.
I feel like that's got to be it, right? Which kind of irks me whenever you saw like MLS teams not release their U20 players to the World Cup. Paxton had to have been scouted, one based off of Brendan's tenure in Europe, but also based off of what his U20 performance is, because it's definitely not his time at Philly, because that was nothing to gauge.
Right.
So then you look at players like Buck, and you look at players like Gutierrez and Brady, who didn't get to go to the U20 World Cup. Although Brady would have sat behind Slimina anyways, it wouldn't have mattered. But you saw players who didn't get to go to the U20 World Cup, and they're missing out. But I guess in contrast, they're actually playing for their club team. So I guess if there's that, I guess.
Buck is. When you first said Buck, I thought you said fuck. So it confused me briefly.
That's the quote from what's that fucking movie? Kill Bill. Because my name's Buck and I like to fuck.
All right. That's good. I don't remember that scene, but
at the very beginning, he's got the pussy wagon truck. Remember?
It's been so many years, Brett.
She was in a coma, and he was like selling her body out. And
you've obviously seen this movie more than once.
Twice, maybe 3 times in my lifetime, I guess.
Yeah, that's more than I have. Once. I've seen it once.
You could watch that movie like 10 times, and I still probably would remember it better than you.
Well, you know what? I also watched it when it was on TV, and they cut out all the bad words.
They censor pussy, and you just see blur and then wagon.
It's like on my version, he's like, my name's Buck, and I like to fool around.
My name's Buck, and I drive a truck.
They changed it to like fool around or something like that.
Yeah.
All right. What else we got?
Going off of that real quick, there is something to be said about the censoring of various words and stuff on TV from movies that make it that much more memorable, you know?
Kind of. Oh, well, it makes the original one more memorable.
Well, you always remember the most ridiculous thing, you know. I can't come up with one off the top of my head here right now.
Well, let me give you one. Remember when Booger, the character Booger from Revenge of the
Nerds? Yeah.
But this is in Risky Business, and he's talking to Tom Cruise, and he says on the TV version, sometimes you got to just say, what the freak? You're like, what the freak? That sounds stupid. But, you know, in the original movie, sometimes you just got to say, what the fuck? And that was made more sense to me, but what the freak doesn't quite does it. All right. What else we got? New rumor.
All right, not necessarily transfer news anymore per se, but we have youth players that are moving up to first team in preseason for clubs.
Okay. Well, let's see who those spankers are. Zach Booth, the 19-year-old U.S. youth national team midfielder. I'm sorry, he's played for the big boy team now.
Zach, not Taylor.
Oh, Zach Booth. Man, I haven't heard his name in ages. Okay.
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
You remember during COVID, we were sitting here like feeling so bad for the kid because the U23s or whatever the reserve teams in England were not playing at all. I'm like, oh, what a waste of a freaking season.
Yeah, he got screwed. Yeah.
Yeah.
And brother of Taylor Booth is now training with Leicester's first team. Well, that's good to hear. He must have got all the tall genes in the family because Taylor Booth is a small guy. Zach, to be a goalie, must be much bigger mammal. Zach could be.
Zach's not a goalie, I didn't think.
Thought he was. Look that up. He might not be. I might be an idiot. No, we have the other goalie.
He's a midfielder.
Sorry, he's a midfielder. I was thinking of the goalie that we have there. What is his name?
It starts with an O, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Fuck my brain.
Odunze.
Thank you. Oh, good job, Brett.
Yes!
You don't even have to Google that shit.
Unlike Zach, Odunze actually has been called up to the national team.
He has. Yeah. Zach could be poised for a debut and breakout season for the Foxes as they drop down to the English Championship. Could be. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Could be. If he's good as Taylor, he might get some time. We'll see.
Yeah.
Zach Booth's a goalkeeper. You know who I got that? You know who I'm mixing up? Isn't it the oh God. Who's the kid that played at Liverpool for a while? Came back. Pelosi. Didn't he have a brother that was a goalkeeper too? One of those guys does.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I'm trying to remember the guy.
What happened to Pelosi? Came back and just fizzled out in MLS, or did he get injured a lot?
Yeah, he's fucked up. Yeah, too many injuries. Yep, he had to retire. Yeah,
a lot of promising. There was a lot of hype around him in the big soccer days, man.
God damn it, I can't remember the family. It's not Pelosi. Shit, but there were two brothers. One played young guys. Fuck. Anyhow, I'll come back to it some other day. That's who I'm getting them confused with. All right, let's move on.
Again, while we're talking about youth national team players breaking out into the first team during preseason.
Paxton Aronson? No. Malik Sanogo?
Yeah.
All right. Well, he's been waiting. We'll see.
Well, this is the second preseason where he's playing with the first team, or
it's not the first time.
So but it's a good sign that they're clearly keeping tabs on him. They really want to see him make the jump forward.
Can I ask you a question? Is Maurice Malone also playing in the preseason for Union Berlin? Because I bet he is too, because he did last time as well. And he's a dual Nat like Malik Sanogo.
The center back from Dortmund?
No, Maurice Malone. He played at Wolfsburger AC in Austria last year on loan from Union Berlin. Also, had high hopes for him. It would Will Pulisic. Oh my God. I was thinking Pulisic, but then I was like, wait a minute. No, Pulisic doesn't have a brother. Yes, he does, Derek. Thank you, Chuck.
Brother or cousin?
No, that's his brother. I believe Will Pulisic is related. His brother, direct.
Well, definitely related. I wasn't sure if his brother or cousin.
No, it's a brother. I'm pretty damn sure. Someone will let us know. Transfermark says Sonogo has been promoted to the first team. I mean, yeah, okay. We'll see how that goes. Maurice Malone was also promoted to the first team, and he lasted like what? He got like a handful of games at the beginning of the season off the bench, and then he was off to Austria. So we'll see. It's a cousin? Thank you, Rogelio. I did not know that. Oh, Augsburg. God, I'm getting all kinds of fucking shit wrong tonight. I'm like
too many youth national team players on the move.
God, my brain is turning to Brett, my brain's turning to jello. Who
am I thinking of the Dortmund defender that went to
Maurice Malone is at Augsburg. It's correct. Huh?
Who's the Dortmund defender that went to Bundesliga 2 then?
After all of my bad memory tonight, you're going to ask me questions about what I remember? Because obviously I'm in trouble tonight.
It starts with an M. I remember this. I just don't remember his name right now. I thought it was Malone, but it's not.
Maurice Malone was with Augsburg. I started off the season with Augsburg last year. They could have used him, actually, by the end of the season, those dumb fucks. They could have used Pepe, too.
That's why I'm mixing it up. Wait, what? Is it Linderman?
As a defensive midfielder, yes. And they just got promoted.
Oh, look at that. Well done, Leonard.
Heidenheim. God, man, this is testing my memory bank cells here. I can feel fuses burning up in my brain. Usually I don't have that problem remembering stuff, but
we're going to take a break from the youth national teams being promoted to first team and everything. But we're going to talk about some potential youth players that are getting signed abroad that are dual nats that you don't have to remember, Derek. So no worries there.
Okay, good.
I've never heard of these kids either.
Austin Jones.
Yep, PSV Eindhoven are announced that they are signing the 15-year-old Austin Jones.
Yeah, I wouldn't buy too much into that. A lot of these youngsters go there. We've seen them in the past, and then it just doesn't work out. They end up being sent to other teams. They go through a whole list of smaller Dutch teams afterwards. So we'll see. I don't really have an opinion on a 15-year-old. That's way too early.
No, 100%. I only brought these up because, as U.S. men's national team Burner says here, I wanted to keep an eye on.
Sure, we'll keep an eye on.
Let's see what happens. I'm not projecting anything on this kid. I don't know anything. Plus, he's only played for the Dutch youth national teams, and apparently hasn't even been contacted by the U.S. youth national team. So, but he's a 15-year-old. I mean, how often? I mean, he could have been brought in for some U15 games, I guess. But how well are they scouring throughout Europe for any potential duel at the age of 15 or below?
They do some scouring.
Some,
but yeah. We'll keep it in mind. So 3 years from now, I can totally forget where he started his club career. Utrecht? I think it was Utrecht. Was it Go Ahead Eagles?
Tom, man, you're killing me, man. All right, I got to put him in. Sorry, Tom. Tom goes, Sonogo looks like Fernando Torres. And BMR goes, Sonogo isn't the white guy. Tom, you killed me, man.
Just look at the name, Sonogo. Obviously, an Africa-based name, last name, Sonogo.
All right. More youth players to keep an eye on, I guess.
All right. Zion Suzuki. He's got 3 countries. 20-year-old American goal-eligible goalkeeper. Sensation? Okay. Is now on the verge of joining Manchester United. Suzuki is yet to be approached by the USSF and only represented Japan at youth levels. Yeah, that doesn't... Well, I don't want to say this. Don't want to say
You're treading on dangerous waters here, Derek.
No, but Japan has a long history of this. All right? Yeah. After World War II, Of course, we have bases there,
True.
and the children of African American and Japanese women were shunned in Japan. And if you're telling me that's gone completely, okay, but I would be really surprised if that completely was disappeared. So I don't know. We'll see how this works out for Suzuki.
I mean, he's not as young as the 15-year-old off the PSP and all, but he's a 20-year-old goalkeeper. Most likely on his way to Manchester United, has repped Japan in the youth levels. One to watch?
Sure. Anybody's got an American flag, I'll watch it, and we'll keep tabs on it.
Yeah.
We'll just see how embraced he is. There was that one American tennis player, Japanese American tennis player, who ended up playing for Japan in the Olympics. And she was pretty revered, and I believe she was mixed, and I can't remember her name. But she did beat Serena Williams in the, I think it was US Open final. That's the US Open final where Serena Williams said, "Hey, you can't accuse me of cheating.
There you go.
I'm a mom."
BMW had you covered.
Yes, Naomi Osaka. Yeah. And she's talked about it as well pretty openly that that's an issue in Japan still to this day. They're not real open to that. There's such a homogenous society, though, you know, I mean, those kind of societies where everybody is generally the same have a hard time accepting any outsiders. And we'll see how that works out for them. As soon as you scroll down, I said, oh, wait a minute. Because Japan has a bad history with that.
Yeah, you were like, oh, I don't think I should say it. Then the chat's like, say it. But, uh-oh, racism time. Say it.
It's true. Sorry. And that goes for white American soldiers who had mixed children in Japan. That was not looked upon very positively either. And they were kind of blackballed in Japanese society for a long time. So anyhow, we'll move on. I'm not saying any more than that. You guys can do your own research on it. It's a real thing. Where are we going to?
That's all of our transfer news.
All right, let's go to the main topic then. Or do you got more?
Kind of leading into the main topic, I guess. So let's just start with our good friend here, D-Mac.
D-Mac. All right, $5, brother. Appreciate it. Derek, in the UB19 FIBA tournament, Japan had a couple of mixed black Japanese players. I think things have changed a bit. Now, I would say they definitely have changed since the 70s, the 60s, and the 80s even. I would guess the older generations probably still hung up on a lot of that. I would guess the under 20, under 30 generation is way more open to it. Way more open. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Well, I mean, this is the basketball, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, what the average height of the Japanese players? What, 5'6"? So
I don't know.
Maybe they're a little more accepting for that reason alone. Yeah.
Brett. The average height of a Japanese male, I believe, is 5'8". So, or 5'7.5".
Oh, come on. My 5'6" wasn't that far off. It was purely a joke. I assumed it was probably like 5'8" to 5'11" range, but.
And an American currently is 5'11" or something like that. We're not
as we've learned
5'10"
South Park, and South Park doesn't lie. The Japanese have very small cocks, very small.
Oh, Jesus Christ, Brett!
You Americans have very big dicks. We have very small dicks.
All right, well, just gonna get canceled for that.
Oh, come on. South Park gets grandfathered into it. I think we should be able to as well.
All right, as long as you're quoting South Park, I think it's fine. All right, I didn't watch that. It's
one of the first. It was in the first,
one of the first shows.
The first season, actually. Yeah.
Was it? Yeah. I bet you they don't say that shit anymore. Although South Park does not. Honestly, they do not give a fuck. Yeah.
Jonathan goes, I was thinking of South Park too. Raymond C says, Brett taking on Derek's role. What the fuck?
What do you mean? I don't say shit like that. Do not talk about anybody's nationality and dick size.
Yeah, right. John
Not
says,
sure.
not true. I'm 6'2", and I was a giant in Japan.
Yeah. You're 6'2". You were bigger than almost everybody. Yes.
Yeah.
So I mean, listen, we could deny the facts, but yes, some countries are just taller than others on average. Not to say there aren't tall people in Japan. There are. They're just not as many of them. That's all.
I think the rest of Europe can thank the Norse for spreading their tall genes across all of Europe.
The Norse. They're going to thank the Norse.
Yes. Thank you, Vikings, for coming and pillaging us, giving us all your great genes.
I don't think, well, I'm not going to get into this debate with. I don't think you know what Vikings are. All right. Not getting into all the Celtic tribes, the Anglos, the Saxons, the ancestors were all from Norway and Sweden, that area of the world. I don't know. Anyhow, I don't want to get into this debate right now. Let's get with Tim Ream.
I really don't know where you're going with that, Derek. All right. Anyways,
U.S. Ream isn't ready to retire. He wants 20. Of course he does. He wants to play in the 2026 World Cup.
As we know, with Ream, he ages like fine wine. So
yeah,
he'll win World Cup for us.
His chances are going to get lower every year. The World Cup next year, he's got a 70% chance. For the next year, it'll be down to a 35% chance. And by the year the World Cup happens, he's going to have to be still performing at that age. And I don't know if that's going to be possible, but if anyone can do it, it's going to be Tim Ream.
Yeah.
All right.
That's just going to take us right into our main topic, really, because that brings us up to the United States national team when it comes to the Gold Cup.
Which Pirates we're going to pick to join the hunt for booty?
Well,
and that's right.
Before we even jump into the Pirates, let's talk about the elephant in the room, right?
There's an elephant in the room.
Yeah.
Oh, Yueill. All right. Yeah.
Oh, Yueill.
Yeah. I mean, it's sort of an elephant, but at the same time, I went down my list of guys I would bring. I was like, okay, the Tillman brothers, no, they're out. They're injured. Williamson, no, he's injured. And I just kept going down my list. I'm like, nope, can't join us. Nope, injured recently, can't come back.
Well, I got the preliminary roster. Why don't we just go down that real quick? Just
because it has to be based on that, right?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Of course, this is not in any particular. This isn't not in any fucking order by position, of course.
Correct. It's alphabetical.
It's a fucking disaster.
There are several other MLS players that are not on this list that I would have called up before Yueill, but again,
we can't go by that.
Not on this list.
Midfielders. Let's see.
Aarons and Booth wouldn't be included.
Nope.
Busio's already there.
So all the European guys outside of Busio and maybe one or two others are out.
Do you think we could have gotten Cardoso back?
No. Nations League.
Yeah, I know he's at Nations League, but I didn't know if. I mean, I know Turner said, "Hey, I want to be at both."
They're still playing.
I don't know what is Cardoso. Is the club still playing?
Brazilian league is still going on right now. So is the Argentinian league. Yeah. De La
Torino. Gressel's already there. Ledesma would have been one that I would have considered. But so I guess we should preface this by saying, why Yueill? Of all players in the world, why bring Yueill in?
Because he's replacing another holding mid.
Well,
that's not Ledesma.
The only person that's leaving that's injured is Sonora, and the other person that's leaving the camp is Aiden Morris, and that's for personal reasons. But we can't replace his spot.
But he's really replacing Aiden Morris, though.
Correct, because after Sands, who the fuck do we have?
Because Sonora would never. Sonora ain't playing another game for us ever, probably.
Ever at this rate, ever.
Yeah, because he bombed.
He would have every chance he had. He bombed. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's probably just done. So even if he would have stayed and not been injured, and we're really not sure if he's really injured, or if they just said, "Hey, dude, you're bad, so we're sending you home. Can you just say you're injured so it doesn't look bad for you or us? Okay.
Yeah.
No, Sonora is not a holding mid. No, we're
Correct.
saying that
Aiden
he's replacing Aiden Morris in the lineup.
On the roster, not
In
necessarily
reality,
yeah.
not technically, but in reality, that's why he was picked.
Because my thought process was we're losing an offensive mind, quote unquote offensive minded midfielder here. We should be
Who will
replacing
never play for us again.
But we should be replacing him with an offensive minded midfielder. So that's what I'm thinking. Like, well, why not somebody like Ledesma in that situation? But again,
I wouldn't bitch and moan
understand.
if it was Ledesma, but that would leaves you one holding mid left on this lineup, and that's that's not enough. What if he gets injured?
Honest question. Do you think if we're let's say Sands and now Yueill both pull a pinky toe and they can't play? What would you consider Neil in that role? He's so comfortable with the ball at his feet.
It would be a grand experiment that I wouldn't mind seeing, but I don't think that's something they want to do.
No, I wouldn't want to do that either, but it could echo the realms of, say, like a Jeff Cameron to an extent.
Yeah.
Although Jeff Cameron worked his way backwards from striker to midfield to defense. So
Jeff
it's a bit
Cameron,
in that sense.
by the time Jeff Cameron was playing center defensive holding midfielder, he had already been a pro for years.
Fair enough. I don't disagree with that. I'm just saying, looking at how comfortable he is with the ball, that could have been somebody that could step up in that role. Without pushing Busio back. I
don't doubt that he's comfortable on the ball. What I would doubt is him being comfortable playing in that space.
Fair enough. It's fair.
He might be perfect at it. I don't know. But in a pinch, sure. Why not?
I mean, that's basically what Sands did last Gold Cup. He went from center back to playing more of a defensive midfielder anyways. And I think with New York City FC, didn't he start as a center back and then moved his way into defensive mid?
He's been jumping back and forth so much it's hard to keep track of anymore.
He's also about 6 inches shorter than Neil, so it's a bit different, I guess. But
yeah, again, can't bring McKenny.
No. What about Brooks Lennon?
Nah, he's
outside anyways.
He's not a midfielder. He's a right back guy, a left back, right back for Atlanta when he plays.
Fair enough. We're losing Morris. We've already got Mihailovic.
We're running out of players here.
We got Parks.
Parks would have been a potential.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like if you're aiming is to replace Sonora, I think Parks would be a potential.
I'm just talking about Parks could play both roles.
Okay,
that's the difference. He could play box to box, and he could play holding mid. Yeah. Depending on whether we're playing a 4-2-3-1, right? You're playing that, you need two holding mids because you're going to let Mihailovic play the attacking mid spot.
Yeah.
And yes, we can get away with playing one holding mid versus crappy teams like St. Kitts and Trinidad and Tobago. But we're playing Canada. Do you want to play just one holding mid? Maybe we do, but I bet you we go back to two. And that's why Yueill's coming back.
I'm fine with that, quite frankly. Going back to the what?
Why'd you bring poor BMR's coming up again?
Sorry, that I haven't removed it as a problem.
Oh, it's been up there the whole time.
The whole time.
Pomacall, yeah, no.
Well, we skipped Costa. Costa couldn't be here because he's just recovering from an injury. Like he's got less than 90 minutes of playing time in the last two matches that he's returned. So he was never going to be included.
No.
Paul McCall, you were saying Paul McCall what?
I said no fucking thank you.
So Paul McCall ranked right up there with Parks in that Camp Cupcake for me. Neither of which impressed me. Quite frankly, Parks was abysmal. But Paul McCall wasn't that much better.
Yeah, Paul McCall, last time he put for the U.S. men's national team, looked slow, sluggish, couldn't make a cut, could barely pass.
Well, you're also describing Parks in that same match, though, if I recall correctly. It's been a day and a half, so I don't know.
I don't remember Parks even playing. Keaton Parks never played for the U.S. men's national team, so I don't even know what you're talking about.
I thought he did. He played in that Camp Cupcake. I'm pretty positive he did.
Okay, well, if he did, that's news to me. because we've been asking for him to play for a long time. He never gets a call up, ever. He gets added to this list. I was surprised he was even on this list.
He played in 2018. Fuck, man, I could have swore he was in that Camp Cupcake.
It's like, damn, you took a lot of acid.
This? I could have swore it was, maybe I'm combining Paul McCall with him and just saying that's who I thought it was. But
no, Paul McCall was wretched.
Yeah.
He was
okay.
wretched.
Fair enough.
All right. So
Parks apparently played in 2018. That was the only time he's ever played. He's played in one game.
Yeah.
So
Sands rolled on. I was already on the team. Sonora's been kicked off the team. Excuse me. He was injured. Tessman. I would love for him to.
Apparently, his wedding is done.
It's done. The business is over. They went on their honeymoon. Come on, brother.
Speaking of Tessman, we didn't mention him during transfer news, but he is also garnering interest from a number of teams within the top 5 leagues. So that's cool. I think he'll still be with Venezia next season, though.
Makes a lot more sense than Busio. Tillman's injured. Both of them are not doing well right now.
Well, Timothy, at least he again, he's just like Acosta. He's back. He has less than 90 minutes in 2 games. So again, out of the equation.
Mm-hmm.
Jackson Yueill got included because he's really the only option at the holding mid role. That's it, folks.
Yeah, just going down the list. That's about it.
It begs the question, though, because I didn't think that the Gold Cup required a preliminary roster. I was proven incorrect because obviously it says here in this PDF that this is the 2023 CONCACAF Gold Cup preliminary roster,
right?
Which happens to be the same preliminary roster from the Nations League. Everybody apparently had a tournament. Nations League Nation League teams had a tournament early because they played earlier. I guess it begs the question as far as you already knew that players, I'm going to keep using the same 2 players here, but you knew that Buck and Gutierrez were not being released for U20s. Why wouldn't they have been included in the preliminary roster at that point?
I don't know. But Buck was kind of, in his comments about it, was like, hey, I guess I still have to prove more to get on this
Fair
team.
enough. Yeah.
But did he?
But they're both having solid seasons.
But neither of those, including Obed Vargas, by the way, which I think could have squeezed on this here somewhere too. But, those aren't the system dudes. Like, they don't know the system.
That was the thing. People are like, oh, yeah, they don't know the system. And I'm like, yeah, but, people like and I know that they have had previous camps, but Mihailovic, Reynolds, and I mentioned somebody else in there. But those 2 at least have basically stepped in from having like 1 camp prior to this.
Yeah, I don't know.
With Mihailovic, he hasn't been included since like the beginning of Greg's tenure.
Maybe it's
they played a different system at that point.
You could make up all kinds of reasons why those guys didn't make the team. You could say they don't understand the culture as much as some of the other guys they're going to bring in. You could say the guy like Jackson Yueill, he fits in our culture. He's really good with be a team player. He knows all the guys. The culture stays good when Yueill's around. And we don't know who this other dude is. I don't know. But we do know for a fact that Yueill was brought in to be a center defensive holding midfielder. Yeah. If they wanted to play a 4-2-3-1, they could play Sands and Yueill together, and that could be what they do against Canada. There you go.
Yeah,
that's why
I'm looking at some of those non-system guys at this point. Although I guess to be fair, and Buck's not per se. I don't know how many youth national team performances he had.
Not many. He's 18.
Oh, is he? Okay, then never mind. Yeah. At least with Gutierrez played with many of the U20 camps leading into the World Cup.
You would think he would be familiar with everything.
They played a 4-3-3. They even played Paxton like they played Ferreira.
Obed Vargas should be pretty fucking familiar with it too.
Yeah. So it's just like you can't sit here and sit and like they don't know the system. Like, well, that was the whole point, wasn't it? Wasn't that the whole point of getting?
Did
all
anybody
teams
say
on
that?
The same system?
Did BJ say
No. This is all Twitter. They're like, oh, you can't include these people because they don't know the system. I'm like, well, a lot of them grew up through the system at this point.
Yeah, maybe
That's
that's not the reason. The reason is they needed specifically a holding midfielder to play next to Sands, and that's why they did it. I'm pretty sure
that's why they brought Yueill in right now. Yes, I'm asking why some of these players aren't included in the 60-man roster.
Well, the reason they're not in there is just beyond anybody's fucking understanding.
Because
some of them should have made it.
What are the odds? Because Pivac's not going to be included with the Gold Cup. It's not going to happen. I mean, the Union's going to want them there for the preseason. And what are the odds that he would have actually cracked the Nations League squad?
Well, some of these guys that you put on this list is a ball rub, basically. It's to say, we're still thinking of you. We're still thinking of your fuzzy nuts. You haven't left our mind. When we close our eyes, we still imagine your little fuzzy nuts taking a shower. And we think you could still be a part of this crew. And not to piss some of these guys off completely and turn them off. Because if Pivac busts out in the Bundesliga in a season and scores like 30 goals, you still want to be like, hey, man, you want to back up Pep? You want to be one of our three guys at the forward spot, along with, let's say, Pepe has a good season, and of course Balogun, and then Sargent has a stinker. I mean, so you want to keep everybody happy, I guess. I'm being Mr. Nice Guy tonight, and just saying why they're probably doing some of these things. But yeah, I mean, some of it's kind of a waste of picks, honestly.
Yes.
So
yeah, I don't know. Just my take on that aspect.
All right, let's pick a starting 11.
Okay.
What formation you want to go with? 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1? Can we bring up our formation maker thingy?
Well, give me 1 second. I certainly could.
Versus Canada, I think we're more likely to go back to the 4-2-3-1 instead of the 4-3-3. It's just an idea. Because
we are certainly getting closer to when Berhalter is going to be taking back over. So unless Berhalter changes his mind, 4-3-3 might go back to the one with the 2 8s.
So we're not going to get to see Mihailovic play a CAM or a number 10 in this game.
Well, in this cup, no. I'm going to stick with the 4-2-3-1 because that's what I suspect. I mean, we saw it in the Nations League. That's what I suspect he'll go with. Right?
Against Canada, yes.
Against the opposition where you need a little more, buffering,
You just need a little more protection of the back. When I say back four, it's really the back two. Because also, if you start looking at this, we're now down without Long. I'm not going to say that.
Hallelujah!
Without Long and with a Miles who's mildly injured, we don't even know if Miles can start this game. Do we?
I mean, I would.
You would, of course, you would like him to start, but they only played him a half. That means this guy is not healthy, right?
Do you want to burn a sub against Canada on a center back that you're going to have to sub off?
I mean, you get 5 of them.
Sure. But I mean, that's the point. I guess maybe you want to have the opportunity of burning that sub, bringing him in to close the match out later, rather than saying we'll start him and then probably have to sub him out like at halftime or whatever,
And then you're throwing Matt Miazga in there for a half anyhow, which doesn't. I don't know how at ease that puts anybody. Honestly,
I think we can agree that
Neil is starting.
Starting, and I want to say I'm going to go out and let. If Miles can go the whole match, then I'm saying he's starting. Otherwise, I'm saying it's Miazga.
My question is why did we pull Miles at halftime? Is it because
it is against?
Hold on. Let me ask the fucking question.
Okay.
Is it because he's injured, or is it because he lacks fitness because he's been injured?
Could be either. Yeah.
I mean, if you're telling me it's a fitness thing, then I'm like, fuck it. He should have regained the fitness and training by now. Put him in there for 90.
Yeah. Wayne Charles says easing him in.
Well, then let's ease him in all the way and start him for 90.
If he's fit and he's not injured anymore and it's a fitness issue, I would rather start
Miles, 100%.
So let's go with that for now,
Okay.
and we'll see what happens.
All right. So on the left, I'm going back to my Revs boy. I'm going to Dwan Jones.
Yeah, we're going back. I was like, wait a minute, we're going to stick with him, you mean?
Yeah, going back to what he did last game. Let's keep that up.
Fair enough. When I hear going back, I thought you were going to say Tolkien for a second.
No,
go back to Tolkien. You know.
No, I'm not going back to.
Not that Tolkien did anything wrong against.
No, he just didn't do
Jones
anything.
Has been solid. Though Jones has been solid against St. Kitts and Nevis and Trinidad and Tobago. I mean, it's nothing really to write home to, but you could see it there. You could see the game. So.
Yeah, no, I think there's something there in Reynolds for sure on the right.
Of course.
So
bring Yedlin back in for experience, Derek.
No. We let Yedlin sit on the sideline at this point.
So we know Sands. We know Sands. Who are you going to partner with Sands, though? Because you want to go back to the 4-2-3-1. Do we jump? We throw Yueill right into the mix? Do we put
so are we doing our lineup or the most likely lineup?
Likely, I imagine.
Yeah, because we don't
do. We don't do that Disneyland.
We don't do Disney shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think he will start you.
I'm kind of thinking that he'll still start Busio, but
do you?
I kind of do. Yes, I think he'll start. I think he'll start the same middle trio with Mihailovic playing more as a 10 in this role, and you'll have Busio kind of playing more of a box to box, and Sands being a designated 6.
Do you think Busio blew BJ's nuts off last game?
Isn't blowing anybody's nuts off any game.
I don't know. I mean, okay.
Your other option is to bring in a guy that you did not include from the get-go and throw him into a knockout stage game.
All right, Busio it is.
I'm thinking it's Busio.
Okay. You're probably right. I was being cynical. Yeah, that's Mihailovic, no doubt. Cade Cowell on the left.
I mean, unless you want to throw Roldan back out there. Is it 2 L's?
Yeah, fuck that. Yeah. No, I don't think it's going to be Zendejas.
I don't think it's going to be Zendejas?
No, I don't.
All right, we got Gressel and we got Roldan. Who do you want?
Here's my wild card for this game.
Yeah?
Ferreira.
As a wing?
Yep. He plopped him out there both times. Then when Vasquez came in, he was still on the field when Vasquez came in to play center forward. Yep. In fact,
I don't think he's taking Jesus out of this as a striker as of right now.
I'm saying my wild card call is Vasquez starts, and he starts Ferreira up top and in Zendejas' spot because Zendejas has been so bad. But you can be right, and he may stick with Zendejas even as poorly as he has been for 3 games.
He's been so bad. Aiden Morris had personal issues. Judgmental as asking what happened to Morris. I'm thinking Judgmental, correct me if I'm wrong. Are you asking about Jordan Morris?
Or Aiden Morris? Aiden Morris.
Like Farrell Mungus said, Aiden Morris had personal issues, which is why he bounced, and which is why we brought Yueill in. But yeah, Judgmental's asking about Jordan.
Yeah, I know he was left out of the game after he started because of some sort of strain. It wasn't serious.
Well, he started in against Jamaica, and then he hasn't seen the pitch since.
And he's fucking god awful.
He was. I guess my point being is that he must be out of the equation at this point. Like as a starter, maybe a late minute sub, if anything. Because why else would you not sub? Or why else would you not bring somebody else in to replace him, like a Ledesma who does play his role? Yeah,
he's not that injured. But something's not right with Jordan Morris.
I mean, if you're starting Roldan at left wing over Jordan Morris, something's wrong with Jordan. So,
Mhm.
yeah,
Something is wrong with Jordan Morris. We're not sure exactly what the physical ailment is. But I mean, maybe he just had a giant boil on his ass. We really don't know. But as far as Aiden Morris goes, and personal reasons, I'm not going to joke about that because I don't know what the personal reasons were.
Yeah.
And it could be something like his mom's sick, or his dog died, or whatever.
He left the stovetop on.
His girlfriend broke up with him. I don't know. His wife is divorcing him. He's not married though, I don't think.
No, what was he, like 24? I doubt it.
People used to get married at that age, Brett.
I know, but this is 2023, Derek.
You whippersnapper. Back in my day, people were getting
Still
married in their 19s and 20s. All right. So you
Derek,
just
showed your age again.
I know. You just you basically just said, Derek, you're wrong, and you're going with Zentejas and Jesus up top.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't see them. I mean, as much as people want to, joke about the Pirate of the Caribbean and stuff like that, he does have 6 goals in 2 games, back to back. I couldn't imagine the coach looking at saying, "I'm going to remove him from the center of the pitch." At that point, the only way I could see that possibly is if you move Mihailovic out right and put Jesus at the 10 with Vasquez up top. Because Mihailovic has played out wide in his career. It's not his strength, but he has played out there.
I mean, if you can figure out a way to get Jesus on the pitch, you move Mihailovic. Here's what the thing you want to do: get Zendejas off the pitch, because he's been so piss poor. Now, if I'm BJ and he's talked about helping Zendejas go get past his self-criticism and his negativity, you probably go ahead and play Zendejas anyhow.
At a potential expense of a Gold Cup there? You going to do that? Well, that's tricky. But I guess the bigger question is, what is his replacement? I mean, your biggest option at that point would either be Roldan or Gressel.
No. Just what you said. You move Jesus to the 10.
Sure.
You move Mihailovic out for Zendejas. Zendejas hits the pine, and you start Vasquez up top.
I don't think he would be willing to experiment that much. But again, by doing that, you're putting players in positions that they've played before. It's nothing new. It may be new to you guys.
I don't think that's much of an experiment. Jesus has played a 10 before.
100%.
He used to play it behind Pepe at Dallas.
Yeah.
So you let Vasquez play the Pepe role, and then Jesus can go back to playing his Jesus role circa a year and a half ago at FC Dallas.
Hell, Mihailovic has been playing out left, right?
He could play either side, left or right.
My point being is he still plays out wide.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so it's not out of the question.
No, not the whole. He's played a lot of center attacking midfielder for them too.
Okay.
They tend to play a lot of double 10s sometimes there too. So
Gotcha.
One holding mid. So I mean, listen, what we have up here right now is probably going to happen.
Yeah.
But it's harder to predict, BJ, than it is Greg. Honestly, it's a little harder because
it's a little sloppy.
Yeah, he's slobbers.
They're still coming, guys.
But so Callahan has kind of surprising sometimes.
There you go.
BJ is kind of surprising sometimes. You ever met that girl and you just met her, and before you know it, she's right down there on your dong? What a shocker! I'm surprised, BJ. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But I wouldn't be shocked to see Vasquez start up top with Jesus at the 10 and move Mihailovic out there to take over for a Zendejas, who's probably almost suicidal at this point. He's not, but I mean, he's got to be so down on himself for the way he's played for 3 games. I would just give him a break. Give him a
Yeah.
break from starting. Let him come in off the bench and make an impact, and maybe his mentality will change a little. It'll give him a little bit more of a chance to a little more freedom. Instead of having the pressures of being a starter seem to be encroaching on him in the sense that he thinks he's got to be like a star out there. He's holding the ball too long. He's not passing it when there's lanes open, and he's dribbling too much. He's losing the ball. He's making late passes that go to nobody. He's had a horrible, horrible Gold Cup. Vasquez in. Roldan should be out. He shouldn't see a fucking blade of grass from here on out in this tournament. Yeah. Not a blade of grass. Push Reynolds further up the wing for crosses. I think he's been doing quite a bit of that. So yeah, I like that idea.
Well, I mean, I think JoJo's saying that that JoJo would put him in there, Reynolds up where Zendaya says to cross the ball, a la very Weah-esque, if you will.
No, that would require us playing 5 in the back or 3 in the back, depending on how you want to look at it. No, we're not doing
or
that.
That would require Yedlin to come in at right back.
Yeah, no thanks. No, that would require us to play. No, that would require us to play 3 center backs. That's not happening.
No,
I do not want to see Miles, Neal, and or no sign of Longer Miazga for me from here on out starting. I don't want to see either of those 2 guys start.
There, no 3 center backs.
That's not a wing back then.
There's the wing back. He says move him further up the wing for crosses.
That would make him a wing back. Unless you're going to play him where you're playing him as a right winger, Reynolds. He's not a right winger.
I don't disagree, but I'm just trying to make sense.
No, I think when he says move them further up the wing, he means play him as a right wing back in a back 5 or a back 3.
I don't know if BJ's got that in his repertoire.
No, he may not, and I don't want to see it because that means you got to play 3 center backs, and I don't want to see Miazga or Long on the pitch. Don't want to see it.
I mean, I guess using Reynolds at this position and using him just for crosses is no different than playing Gressel. I'm not sure if I spelled his name properly there.
That's close enough.
That's basically all that he offers too, right?
Yeah, I would just keep him where he is because he's being pretty effective moving up and down the wings as a right back. You know, he's doing just great. So I'd keep him where he is. He gets into the offense a lot. So he did start his career as a winger. I wouldn't doubt that. But
his crosses have been pretty on par. Which
I'm not taking Mihailovic off for him, though. I'm sorry. I'm keeping Mihailovic.
No, you'd be taking Zendejas off.
That I might do. But then, as you said, then you got to start Yedlin at right back, and I don't want to do that either.
I don't want to do that either. Yeah.
I don't want to see Yedlin at right back.
On that one.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny because we always talk about how like our wings, our backs. I mean, bolting up, and for whatever reason, we just don't have wings that can cross the fucking ball. You know, Jedi can't cross it worth a dick.
Well, he can't. He
never attempts to cross it.
He can cross it. He's just incredibly inaccurate.
That's why I said worth a dick.
Oh, worth
can't cross
a dick.
with a dick. Yeah.
Depends on what dick you're talking about, I guess.
Fair enough.
I mean, your dicks are really cheap.
This is ribbed for her pleasure, I guess. All right. Yeah. So it's phenomenal how we have backs who just simply can't cross the ball. They can bolt up the pitch. They can do all that stuff and everything. But when it comes to the final play,
no accuracy
at all.
And it's not like Jedi isn't looking up before he crosses. He always does. I look at him every time when he's down the left for Fulham or he's down the left for the U.S. men's national team. He always lifts his head first and then he kicks the ball. I would suggest this to him. Don't lift your head. Just kick it in the fucking box. And just get lucky. You have a better chance getting lucky than you have doing what you're doing right now, which is looking up and trying to find a target that you're never going to hit.
I think he should. What he should do is his crosses should be low and powerful. He shouldn't be lobbing them into the box.
He can't do that.
He should just be like pegging them across the box.
He can't do that.
I think what he needs to do, where he's been the most, this is breaking off topic because Jedi's not obviously included here, but where he's been most successful is when he cuts it back and then looks for that simple pass into the box to an oncoming midfielder like McKinney or somebody like that. His crosses just suck royal.
Now that we shoot from outside the box on a rare occasion, sure.
Rare. This team does, yes. I don't know about our. I still don't know about our A team.
Yeah. So, like I said, I think my suggestion's better. I think he dribbles down the left. He generally knows where the box is. Just kick it generally towards that area, and you'll have a better chance of accidentally finding Mitrovic or Pepe, in our case, or Balogun than you do if you actually aim for them. Because if you try to aim for them, you will miss. You know, there's that one theory. I don't know if you've ever been a pitcher, Brett, but when you're a pitcher, you don't aim. You don't aim. If you start aiming, you cannot hit the spot you're aiming for. It's almost like darts too. You don't aim. You look at the general area you want to throw it at, but you don't aim.
It's phenomenal how accurate your non-aiming for darts when you're a professional is.
But you don't aim. You're more focused on muscle memory and the repetition. You're just looking generally at the zone, right? But if I start now there are times you have to aim at darts when you've already got two in the triple 20s and there's only enough space left for one more. Then you're like, okay, I got to slide over and I got to hit that little tiny space. You could call that aiming, but even I do it out of feel. I don't actually just like zone in on that spot because I'm feeling what that throw is going to feel like, right? And that same thing with crossing the ball. When you were taking corner kicks, did you ever aim necessarily, or did you just say, listen, I know generally where this ball needs to go, and that's where I'm going to kick it, but you don't aim because, I don't know, that just doesn't work. Same thing with pitching in baseball.
I was 6'2" striker. I was never taking the corner kicks, Derek.
Yeah, right. You're on the other end of them.
Yeah.
I get it. What in the hell is this? Chris Gary, it's not the Caribbean, but there's a chance. Player from PEI like the U.S. men's national team chances. Prince Edward Island. It is an island. It is an island. I think
that's all we needed. Just a loophole for the Pirate of the Caribbean to come through with another hat trick.
I mean, technically, isn't kind of Nova Scotia an island also?
Yar, it is.
I mean, it's got rivers basically blocking it off from the rest of the continent, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Yes. So, hey, pirate action is available on Sunday?
Sunday. Yep.
Okay. USA number 9 player pool is so thin, that someone like Jesus Ferreira is in the running to go to the World Cup. All right, Simon, you know that we've been around you for a long time, but I don't think right now that Jesus Ferreira is in the running to go to the World Cup. I think he's playing on this C team for a reason. I think number 1 right now is Balogun, and number 2 is Pepe, and number 3 right now is probably Josh Sargent. I think that's all we're taking to the World Cup. 3. So Ferreira is going up against Josh Sargent right now. It'd be very hard for me to see him making this team unless he makes it as a backup 10 to Reina. That's all I can say.
That's true too. Yeah, I mean that'd be another up for contention, but I don't know. I'm sure there are other players that the coaching staff sees deemed as a Reina replacement, if you will.
Yeah.
But, I mean those 3 are my top strikers right now. I mean you also have people in the wings like Haji Wright, who's still scoring in Turkey. Who knows if he might be getting a move this season too. So you never know.
He's kind of wore out welcome in my area.
It's fair. I mean, he did score. He was the only striker to score a goal in the World Cup. Right?
And depending on what PFOC does next season, he might wear out his welcome as well.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So it's I like his final phrase here. Alan Gordon wishes he was that lucky. I mean, Alan Gordon was insanely lucky.
Yeah.
I mean that guy didn't have luck, man. He wouldn't have had anything.
Well, he kind of made some of his own luck.
True. That's also very true. We talk about players like Wondolowski and even Ferreira for this. Knowing where to be is half the game and half of their game. And you know what? You might say, oh, it was lucky that the cross went to him there, blah, blah, blah. But I mean, he put himself in the right position. Yeah, you could say the same thing about Alan Gordon in that sense.
It's kind of like calling McBride lucky. McBride made his own luck.
That ball in the air. McBride's going to get his head on it. It doesn't matter.
He is a beast. compared to those two. But yeah. But I think, folks,
Those
that
were the days.
we're going to actually end the show before 2 hours is over, which is fine. You know, not every show needs to be 2 hours. Just not like every time you hook up with your girl, it doesn't have to be all out sex. Sometimes a hand job is just good enough, right? Right, Brett?
Yeah, of course. Sure.
I mean, you don't always need to do the nasty, right? Sometimes a little foreplay and a little hand action is all that's necessary. All right. And that is especially true with your stepsister. So until the next time on the Straight Red Card,
You had to throw that in there, didn't you?
we will be back on Monday. Have a great weekend and go USA beat the Maple Leafs. That hurt.
I'm tuned in like crazy, and I'm pretending like I know what they're doing, and I'm
The articulate and intelligent
Greg's a bitch. That's all.